First one, of course, is the one we've been saying. My emotions are valid because my emotions are valid because I feel them. You can say that every night the rest of your life and you'll have a better life. And this is a real important one. That you feel an emotion, and if and how you take a note. Just wait a minute. We'll go through. That you feel, that should say an emotion, is distinct from if and how you express it. All emotions are valid, all expressions are not. If I'm angry at my wife, that's a valid emotion. That does not give me permission to hit her, to yell at her, to do anything. That's a decision that I need to take responsibility for. That's a choice. My life, never okay to hit. I give myself permission to yell sometimes. When I'm more resourceful, I tell her what I'm feeling. And if I'm really resourceful, I get that it's my problem anyway, and I get over it before she even knows I felt it. That's the ultimate goal for me, is to get over my emotions without everybody else being involved, because it's really none of their business. So you need to have that guideline. It's not licensed to be expressive. Does that address what you're asking me, Pam?
Yes. Thank you.
You know, what they're saying is not you shouldn't feel what you feel. It's saying we don't like the way you're expressing it. And that's an opinion too. You make a choice. You don't have to make people happy. You can choose to make people happy. You're not responsible for other people's happiness. You can choose to consider it. Because we all have limitations. This is not accurate. This is not true. This is a made-up thing. If my wife gets really upset because I leave the cap off the toothpaste, not true. I am not inherently responsible for her being upset, even though it's my behavior that led to her feeling. Knowing I'm not inherently responsible for it, I can choose to be responsive. I can go, no, let's get off my back. Shouldn't have to do 6 years of therapy to get over this. I'll just put the cap on the toothpaste. You make choices because we choose to, and we get along with people. And the really interesting thing is when I'm tolerant of other people's limitations, they're more tolerant of mine. It's amazing how that works. And I better learn how to do that because I can have a lot of limitations. Here's another thing. We live in time reality, you know, and we're going to talk a lot about time in a few minutes. You cannot change what you've already felt. You can try that. Think about something you felt yesterday. And I'll try to change it. You felt that. But we act like we can all the time. It makes me a little crazy. I don't show you. People go, I shouldn't have felt that way. Well, change it now. No shit about it. Now, what I think you need to go to is not to give up on it. Is to recognize you can have a reactive pattern. And you go, oh, I want to not get upset every time. And this is when I worked on years ago, and it worked. I actually got some friends to help me. You know, there's an age when daughters can whine. This is you, actually. Well, you were young, not your fault. There was a stage of my life, it was just whine, 3 or 4, so I just whine, and it was like fingernails on a chalkboard to me. But I knew it was developmental, and if I knew it made a big deal about it, I'd like freeze her in that stage, and she'd be 40 years old, whining in the same way. So I needed to, it was my problem that I couldn't handle. I was in NLP training at the time. I went and grabbed my friend and said, okay, I need to change this. They worked on me, and it worked. I went home, and she whined, and I was like, no, he's whining, no big deal. You know, the chill didn't go down my spine anymore. Or up my spine, I was thinking it's down. And I was cool. She got over it, mostly. You can testify to that. And I could change the pattern. And if it didn't work, and I went home and I did get tense when she whined, well, I can't change that. I can decide whether I want to try to change that pattern again. There are reactive emotional patterns. And we can work on that going forward into the future. We can't change it going backward. We can change how we think and feel about what happened, how we hold our personal history. That's a very effective way to change. But we can't change what had happened. We can change our filters a little. You know, it's like if I remember that I gave a talk and 3 people were frowning at me during the talk, I might then change my memory and go, oh, 3 people were frowning and 17 were smiling. That's different. You change our memory. But that's a whole other ballgame of changing reality. But we're always changing reality. We didn't know it. But we can't work on a pattern. The interesting thing is, the more I'm okay with what I've already felt, the more room there is for changing. Emotions are paradoxical in that way. The best environment for changing an emotional pattern is being okay with having had it. Acceptance is the best environment for change. It's the necessary environment for change.